Hi guys, and welcome to Amy Ann. I'm Amy, and today I'm going to be answering the questions that y'all asked on Instagram and commented on my vlog. So this is my Christmas Q&A. And I didn't really have a reason to do it besides everybody enjoys Q&As, and I enjoy answering questions. So first up, we have a question that more than one person asked, and it's, what's your favorite genre to read? And I was like, why on earth would they ask me this? But also, I realized that I have a bookstagram, or at least I try to have a bookstagram, so that's kind of an obvious question. My favorite genre is really hard to say because I like to read in lots of different genres, so it's easier to say what my least favorite genre is than my favorite. But I really like historical fiction, mystery, and like classics. I also kind of like contemporary. It depends on what, the contemporary's about. Okay, so next up we have, how many siblings do you have? Which is a very good question since you've seen a lot of them throughout the vlog. I am the third oldest of 8 kids. So there's 7 siblings. So yeah, that's a lot. The next question is, do you like to travel? Yes. Do I get to travel a lot? No. Traveling is expensive, but I love traveling and I love seeing new places and meeting new people. So that's one of my favorite things to do. What is the favorite thing you've ever written and why? That's really hard because every time I write something, it becomes like my new favorite usually. I wrote this story that is a short story, and it was about, I'm trying to remember exactly everything it was about because I wrote it like earlier this year. Basically, it was about really tough topics to talk about, and I think I posted on my blog, so if I did, I'm going to have a link down below. I really like that story. Just because I feel like it talks about deep topics that need to be talked about in our culture. And I also am at the moment writing a book about other deep topics, and it's called Beauty and the Beast. And it's still in its first draft and everything, so it's really rough. But I fall in love with the characters and with just the story and the plot, and I've even written snippets outside of it. So I think that's probably one of my favorite things I've ever written too. Okay, favorite memory this year. That would be holding my niece for the first time. That's definitely one of my favorite memories of this year. I also love the memory I have of meeting some friends for the first time. We were communicated online and then we finally got to meet in real life. Or we also traveled to a cabin. That was lots of fun. A goal for 2020. Keep uploading videos regularly and focus on important things like writing and moving on in my writing journey. Okay. Do you have any future writing goals? So that's kind of the same idea. I do. So this year I published, let me reach this book, which is a children's book about Snowball Rabbit, who is a detective and loses his apple. So he has to go find his apple. And the link to that is down below too. That was a huge milestone in my writing journey. Because now I'm basically an author. I am an author. It's just hard to wrap my mind around that. But this year I plan to focus more on getting my novels pitched to agents. I don't know how that will go or anything, but I'm going to be focusing on that and writing short stories for competitions. Let's see. How many books do you read in a month? Wow, that is a great question. I'm trying to think. So, in January of 2019, I would have been able to say that I read about 15 books a month. During this year, though, it has definitely plummeted as I've had other things I've been interested in, and I also haven't been just reading as much. So I would say it's more like 5 to 10 books a month, depending on if I'm sick what kind of books I'm reading, that kind of thing. Alright, so now we have really, really deep questions. If they made a movie of your life, what would the title be? Oh my goodness. I always really, 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 really liked the title Amy of Weird Weldon, just because it sounds really, really weird and different. And I felt like at one time in my life, if they ever made a book, or if I ever wrote a book about me in a fictional sense, it would definitely be called Amy of Weird Weldon. And basically it would be about a girl living on a haunted street with her siblings. I don't think it would be haunted anymore. But I feel like that would be kind of more of a comedy or like a horror. I don't feel like my life would be a horror, hopefully. I feel like I would want it to be a musical because I think musicals are my favorite kind of movies. But if it was a comedy, that'd be okay too, because comedies are fun. Okay, what are you most afraid of? Probably what I fear most is failure. I fear failing others. I fear failing myself. So that's probably one of my biggest fears. What would you like to do for the rest of your life? I would like to write and act and make videos for the rest of my life. And probably blog too. I really enjoy blogging. So the link to my blog is down below in case you're wondering. I really, really enjoy blogging. I enjoy connecting with people and being creative and making things for people to enjoy. And I also enjoy acting a lot, and that's kind of creating something for people to enjoy. So yeah, that's what I'd like to do with the rest of my life, is connect with you guys and make videos for you and write things for you and just act for y'all. Okay, what do you consider your greatest strength? A lot of times I think strengths and failures are interlinked. What can make you very strong can also be your greatest weakness. And so I think that's kind of the problem with me too. I think one of my greatest strengths is that I'm very independent, and I can be very detached from everybody else because I'm like, oh, I'm in my own world. I have my own people in my mind that I am creating. I can create things, but that can also be my greatest weakness because I don't let people in on things. I don't share. I don't, interact a lot of times. I will get in a crowd of people and just kind of zone out a lot of times. And that can be my greatest weakness because, you're supposed to be around people, be with people, show people that you love them. And when you're like sitting there just thinking or making faces, people are like, why are you making faces? It's not really showing people that you love them. Anyway. Also, one of my greatest weakness is my face says more than my tongue can. So if you say something, my face will usually react to what you just said, even if it wasn't said to me. And it can be really embarrassing because I'm like, what's that face for? And I'm like, so yeah. Who had the greatest impact on your life, and what was it? Going back in time and saying somebody had the greatest impact in your life is really... I already said I don't like greatest and bests. Because I think being a unique and creative human being and well-balanced, you have lots of people that impact on your life. Just as a creator, you need to have lots of creative input and things coming into you so that you can have something very unique and different coming out of you. So saying that one person has had the greatest impact in my life would be very hard. Honestly, at this point in my life, the greatest impact would be from my parents, because they've obviously raised me and given me everything that I have, and I am like my mom. I say things like my mom. I do things like my mom. So definitely my mom has had a great impact on me, and so has my dad. And sometimes I say things like my dad, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, that was just my dad coming out of my mouth. Alright. What keeps you awake at night? Thinking about the past. A lot of times, I'll regret something I said or I didn't say. I'll think about things that happened in the past and just relive the moments, and that keeps me up at night because I'll think, what if, and that's stupid because you have to move on eventually. And what ifs will never happen. You cannot go back and change the past, and so you just kind of have to let it go. But do look back in the past to remind yourself how far you've come. Just don't let the past keep you captive. Alright. What movie made you cry? The answer is no movie. Because I don't cry while watching movies. I honestly usually don't watch movies. It's very weird, but it's hard for me to sit still for as long as a movie goes on. It's hard for me to pay attention. So usually if my siblings watch movies and want me to watch them with them, I end up cleaning the kitchen and doing computer work and everything during the video. So yeah, I don't like watching videos. Out of all the books you have read and all the characters you have met, I really like the way you phrase that. What book character are you most like? All my friends tell me I'm a mixture of Anne Shirley and Jo March. So Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables and Jo March from Little Women. Which I can see. I definitely have much more of Anne's dreaminess and her... I mean, both characters are writers. Both characters are strong females. Both characters are very unique to their time and are often rebuffed in the books for being them, and I can definitely relate to that. I can relate to a lot of different things about them, and so I can say I can see how you see Anne and Jo. My sister also said I was a mixture of Jane and Skye Penderwick from the Penderwick series. I can see that as well because Skye is definitely a strong and outspoken woman character, while Jane has more of my dreamy writer side and artist side to her. So I think I'm not any particular character. There's also a character named Cap from The Hidden Hand, and I'm a lot like her, more of her outgoing and capricious side. But she doesn't have any artistic side, which I definitely have. So, I don't know if I'm just any one character, you know, that's character and that's me. I think there's lots of different personalities to describe me, and I think that's part of the reason art and books impact so many different people, because as people we are complex. We are not just one person. You know, there's lots of different aspects and sides of our personalities that we can relate with characters. And so when you read a book, you can kind of relate with lots of the different characters, and then you can relate with the characters in other books. So it's not just one book that you only relate to, and one character you only relate to. You relate to a whole cast of characters and a whole series of books. Alright. Is there a writer whose style you find yourself frequently trying to emulate? This is our last question, and I think it's one of the best question so far. Excuse me, I have a cold, so I'm trying to keep my cold at bay for this video. As a creator, we need to be unique and different from everyone else. But there are stages of being a creator and reaching that ability to be yourself. Just like as a human being, it takes a while to become who you actually are. And depending what chapter people walk in on your story, they will see a different person than people who walked in earlier or later. Because we change. And your writing style, your creative abilities will change as you age and as you mature. And so just like that, the writer you're trying to emulate might change. For a long time, I emulated C.S. Lewis. I wrote a whole book using his writing style as best as I could, and I am not ashamed of that, and I think every writer should go through a phase where you emulate and you try to write in the best you can to be just like that writer, because you find where the writer is good, it's the writer's strengths. You also find the writer's weaknesses, and over time you will get over your phase, hopefully, and move on to write other things. I've also found myself really trying to emulate Louisa May Alcott and Ellen Montgomery for different reasons. That wraps up our Q&A for today. I hope you enjoyed all my answers to my questions. Comment down below, please, different things that you relate to, your answers to some of the questions, and whether you agree or disagree about my answers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notification bell to be notified every Saturday after Vlogmas. Vlogmas isn't over, so I'm sorry, it will be every day, hopefully, after Vlogmas, to be notified each Saturday when I post a new video. So thanks for watching, and see y'all later.